Raising some great questions. Thank you, Ariel. The one I first want to address is, as you said, we've been marketed to, advertised to, the real term is propagandized, our entire last three generations, that we live in a world of two parties, and this is the world that we have to exist in, and we can only talk about issues of social issues or economic issues, and they use that to divide us. But what was the motivating factor behind our revolution, of the birth of our nation, was not the debates over issues on social issues or economic issues. It was really the issue of how are we gonna be governed? Are we gonna allow somebody from across the ocean, a monarch and a king, to govern us? Are we as humanity, as humans, capable of self-governance? And that was the motivating factor that got less than 5%, because it wasn't real sexy, despite the fact that they had redcoats in their bars, beating the shit out of them when they got drunk, being forced to live in their houses, even to house them, marching in their streets, despite the overbearing presence of the redcoats and the British government into them. It was the fact of, how are we going to be governed? Are we going to submit to a governance from across the ocean who don't have a clue about how we live and our freedoms? Or are we going to be capable of self-governance? And that's a conversation that would, if we deal with the issue of our governance, how are we going to govern? Then the ability to solve and deal with the issues of society issues and economic issues, we can begin to solve. But we have to be able to talk about, how are we going to govern ourselves? Are we going to allow the most sophisticated dictatorship in the history of the world, the corporate control of our country and the world, and our political system? Are we going to let people from Washington, D.C. And Sacramento tell us in our neighborhoods how we have to build our houses, how many people we can have living in our granny flats, how our schools are to be run? The difference of what San Diego issues are and Fresno's issues are and San Francisco's issues are and every others are significantly different. To think that top-down type control and management is what the people want or deserve and are capable of handling is a total falsehood that needs to be addressed. So we're trying to elevate the conversation beyond and above the conversation of just what are our differences on societal issues and economic issues to how are we going to govern. And that's one of the motivating factors behind what we're doing.